Ahead of April 23rd, which is the World Book and Copyright Day, we want to focus on children and issues of our reading culture and copyright of books in our next 2 episodes. To set the tone for that, let's show you an earlier interview with Segioluwa, who is a brilliant, book-loving 12-year-old girl. Segi has her eyes firmly on publishing her own works sometime in the future. Please join us after this break. Segioluwa, it's nice to have you on the channel's book club.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Now, you are 12, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, I'm very impressed by your choice of books. All these books, you've been reading all these books.
Yeah.
Wonder, is that the title of this?
Yes.
The Julian chapter. Wonder. Good. Now, this is Sefi Atta's Everything Good Will Come. You have really read this?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
This is one of the best books ever written by a Nigerian. What do you think about it?
I loved it.
Wow. Okay, and then I can see here Francine Rivers. Francine Rivers is she's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And she writes all these big books.
Yeah.
Now you have to tell me how you read this big book. When did you start developing an interest in reading? Because this is impressive at your age. You read so many books and you absolutely love reading, and you are writing. We're still going to talk about your writing later on. When did you start enjoying reading?
I always loved reading, but then I guess it's my motives that changed. Because from a young age, I was very curious, and I read to learn more about the world. And then I discovered novels, and they were very interesting, and they took me to new worlds. So
Fantastic. And I'm sure your parents have a lot to do with that. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Do they read a lot?
They do. My parents read a lot.
Who reads more, your mom or your dad?
Both, but in different fields.
That's good. Now, what are your favorite type of books? Because here I'm seeing a few different genres here. Okay. What are your favorite types of books?
That changes regularly, but then currently my favorite types of books are dystopian novels and science fiction.
Science fiction is getting more popular with people of your generation now.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so?
Because before, science fiction was one giant monster, but then now people have found ways to modernize it and make it more interesting.
Okay. So who is your favorite author?
That's a hard question. I have many.
I know it's a hard one.
Well, it'll be between Neil Shusterman, Francine Rivers, Sophia Tarr, Jacqueline Wilson, a lot.
Yeah, none of them. Okay, don't worry, we have the same problem. Now, Sophia Tarr, is she the only Nigerian author you like?
I also like Chinua Achebe and Chimamanda.
Which of Chimamanda's books have you read?
Purple Hibiscus.
What do you think about Chimamanda Adichie?
Well, I read Purple Hibiscus and Everything Good Will Come simultaneously, and I thought they were quite similar. There were differences and similarities. I think they were written around the same period of time.
Who do you think is a better writer, Sefi or Chimamanda?
Perhaps like comparing apples and oranges.
Correct.
Right.
I agree. Okay, now let's talk about reading. Writing. I have here something you've written. This is a poem, right?
Yes.
I know you have a lot of interest in writing. What kind of stuff do you write?
That differs along with my reading style, but currently I'm reading sci-fi, so I'm writing sci-fi.
Is that a novel or just a story?
I don't understand.
Are you writing a book or a short story?
Something between. They're like novels, but they're short.
Okay. Now, when did you start writing? You won a few awards. I know about the Commonwealth competition you did, in which you came third. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you tell me a bit about that. But what's inspired your writing, and how far do you want to go with writing?
Well, I've always enjoyed writing, both to entertain myself and my friends, and it's one of my favorite hobbies. I love writing. I love the art of creating characters and choosing their personalities and putting them in a home maze and making their life stories.
Tell me the most interesting character you've ever created in your writings.
Well, I think that would be a girl named Rose. She was psychologically demented.
Okay.
So occasionally she set her house on fire.
And why is that the most interesting character?
Well, it was fun to look at her from a less sane perspective.
That's interesting. Okay, now, so how about that competition? Tell me a bit about it. And there have been a few others, is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, in 2013, soon after my parents discovered my writing to a professional level, they were looking for competitions for me, so we saw the Commonwealth one, and we decided to give it a shot, and then I wrote. Well, actually, what happened was that I was in the middle of exams, and I had been trying to write for quite a while, but I wasn't able to think of anything. But then 2 days prior to the submission date, something happened in my life, and I just had to write it down, and then I submitted it, and I got third.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you have some manuscripts ready to be published?
None ready to be published, but I do have manuscripts.
Okay, you could get an editor to dust them up and take them to press, right? Are they finished manuscripts?
Few of them are finished.
How many of such do you have?
I have like 1 or 2 of such, because the thing is, I'm quite busy, and then when I start writing, I usually write from a recreational perspective, not a professional one. Mm-hmm. I'm yet to have the time and the space to really sit down
and write.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you dabble into poetry? I mean, poetry is it's an entirely different ballgame, isn't it?
Yes.
How did you dabble into poetry?
I think I got some of it from my dad, because he also does poetry. But then, well, mainly in school, I would just scribble down poems. It came naturally to me. I find it easy, so.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, it's really nice to have you on the Channels Book Club, and I hope you are going to come back. I know you play the keyboard, right?
I do.
You do? Have you written some songs?
I have, but I don't have any with me now.
None with you. Okay, so maybe next time you come, you play a bit of that for us. Thank you. Nice to have you in the Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget you can always join us on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumu. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.